ready, Dave?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Coach. Generally speaking, were you pleased with the exhibition? I mean, what were your thoughts on the goods, the bad?
Well, it certainly wasn't an A, but it wasn't a D or a low C either. So, a medium B grade in that, and the fact that we did win a game that we didn't play very well with, but we won it. 3 things we did well are 5 goals that we have. Excuse my breath right now, just ran up the steps. Our field goal shooting percentage, one of our goals is to have higher field goal percentage than our opponent every night. We did that. Free throw attempts, we had more free throw attempts than our opponent. We did that. We got inside game going. They had to foul us. And we out-rebounded them. We dominated them on the boards. So that put us in position to win the game. But on the other side of the coin, we had 18 turnovers to their 11. That's seven possessions that were bounced off. And I don't think they were, not to discredit them, but they were a lot of unforced turnovers on our end. Just too quick passing, probably a little nerves from some of the new guys, trying to pass too early, too quick, and bobbling off the hands and so forth. So the turnovers are real correctable because they were errors of over-anxiety and too quickness, and they were trying to do something. So I was pleased with that. And then, we want to try to score 72 points. We scored 70. And the goal for us is to lower those turnovers. That would be 5 extra possessions by getting those turnovers down, which would probably put us in the point total. So overall, we took a look. We probably put it in real perspective. I think 2 or 3 teams in our conference lost exhibition games. And we're like going, the objective here is to learn how to win on a consistent basis, especially in Mott Gym. And this game was put on one of our goal sheets as a home win. And so that's what we really want to try to do, is master a home court advantage and learn how to win, and then improve and learn from that for Sunday's game.
What weaknesses, other than the turnovers and whatnot, did you see that, need attention before the opener?
Well, primarily it was defensively, just what I thought we were going to be pretty solid with, because we spent a lot more time on offense than defense, but the one defense we spent time on was our man-to-man and trying to be better at stopping penetration, and we were unable to do that. Their guard quickness was excellent, and it broke down our penetration. They broke us down a few 3, 4, 5, 6 times that really hurt us. And then our bigs were having to guard perimeter bigs that could shoot the 3. And Donahue got exposed out in the perimeter quite a bit, and we had to change and make up that one. So people will get that film, and we just have to be able to do a better job of adjusting to a team that can shoot. The bigs can shoot the perimeter, and the guards have that quickness. We'll see that in many teams in the conference.
As far as some of the newcomers, Drake had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Didn't get to see O'Brien much. Got in early foul trouble.
Right.
Just kind of,
right.
out of the new faces, who were you most pleased with?
Well, statistically, Jamal Johnson didn't look great on paper, but I thought he really handled himself well. His poise on the floor and his defensive awareness of his teammates and communicating and running a team as a freshman for his first college game on the floor, I thought he was very solid. Obviously didn't score a lot. His assist-turnover ratio wasn't pretty. But overall, I think that his teammates felt comfortable with him on the floor. Malik Love is going to get there. I think he's learning to play point on a more regular basis. But he has the quickness and athleticism and toughness to really become a real good defender and a solid point guard decision maker too. But Drake Yu was the most pleasant surprise, coming off the bench, giving us points in a variety of ways. He was strong to the basket. He was good in transition. He hit a 3 for us, and so that was real positive for us.
Is that kind of what you expect to see as far as because you had Hanson, Lewis, Donahue coming up with
75-80% of the offense.
Is that kind of what you expect to see, or
we would sure hope so. I mean, if we don't, that's kind of poor coaching. We're going to our strengths. If we have everybody getting 8-10 points and Sean Lewis and David Hanson not scoring and taking 12 to 15 shots, then we've probably done a poor job of getting our best players the most shots from the best position. That's what basketball is 101. Your best players should get the most shots. Those 2 guys are our 2 best scorers, and they're getting the most shots, and the other guys in the team recognized that and found them and milked that. And again, we scored 70 points. If we only scored 50, then I'd be a little more concerned. But we did score 70 points, and I think that's kind of the direction we're going.
Talk about starting the season at your old stomping grounds up at Seattle. I mean, what kind of reception are you thinking you'll get, and just kind of your general opinion of
I do have a very big family, and I have had a lot of phone calls for tickets. So for me personally, it's nice to get the game over with. I'm happy that we're playing it early in the year, so it's kind of okay. First game out of the gates. Let's go up to Seattle. Let's play in the arena. Let's see friends and family. But let's go win a basketball game. And so for me, on a personal side, it's great, but it's business first. and if I see somebody after the game and we get a chance to talk to somebody on a Saturday night, that's great and we love it. But at the same time, we're the same model I have for all our players. They'll go back to Sacramento for their hometown. They'll go back to Texas for games. They'll go back to Los Angeles. All the players have hometowns and family and friends, and we say the same thing to them, is that you've got to compartmentalize your business and your pleasure. There's time to have breakfast or lunch with some family, but this is the business trip. This is not summer vacation or family reunion. This is a business trip, and we'll approach it completely as a business trip.
Hey, Coach, just out of curiosity, is this the third straight year that Seattle and Cal Poly have played? And any future years where they're on the schedule that you know of?
We don't have them scheduled as right now, and it doesn't look like it's set up right now. But we still have 2 or 3 games to schedule, and scheduling is it's not a science. It has a lot to do with dates that are available and how many games when somebody come to California, and are we looking for home and home series, 2-for-1 series, guarantee money. So kind of pretty typically that you get a series going for somebody, and sometimes you just go away from it. Sometimes it works out that we continue with it. Right now, neither one of us have plans to continue it, but that's not from either one of our perspectives saying let's not try to do it. It's been more like, well, if we're already getting a game in the Northwest, we don't want another game in the Northwest, and what dates are we looking for, and that type of stuff. So usually it's just more business than saying, hey, we got to play Seattle. Well, not really.
Overall, we've seen you a few times now. Just how ready, how excited, and how eager are you guys to kick off the campaign this weekend?
Well, this is huge for us because we remember how last year started, and we just want to get off to a more positive start. We struggled out of the gates last year, and I think that we want to build confidence with the guys coming off the bench. There's no must wins in the preseason, but it's must improve and must continue to develop the bench, must continue to develop some camaraderie and understand how to get better. I like our schedule because we were able to go on the road and then come back for a home game, go back on the road to Montana State, come back for a home game, and it's also very supportive of our academic goals because we have minimal missed class by playing on Sundays. We miss some Mondays, and that's it. We'll miss 2 total days of class for the quarter, which is tremendously important as you kind of go into the winter break, and you see all our games on the road during that winter break or once finals are over. So 2 or 3 games on the road during the whole quarter.
Excuse me, talking about a couple of individual players. You've been talking about David, this since we've seen you, last month, and sure enough, the guy comes out and scores 25 points. Hopefully the start of good things for him, as you've been kind of promising us the last couple of weeks. Right?
Yeah, it's been that consistent approach in practice. David's playing with no fear now. It took him a year to really get comfortable at playing to win instead of not to lose. And it's a mindset for everybody. Sean Lewis was very aggressive last year, but his timing of when to be aggressive wasn't in line with the rest of the team. Now Sean was aggressive when he needed to be, when the timing was right, and David is shooting when he's open, passing when he's not, still defending and being a good position defender and rebounder, but you can see the light switch is completely turned on with him, his confidence of, hey, I'm shooting when I'm open, and that's your role. David's such an unselfish player that a lot of times last year he felt like he didn't want to take that shot because he wanted to pass it on because he's a nice guy. And he said, actually, that's a selfish play, David, because your role is to embrace this as a shooter and a scorer, and if you're not embracing that, then you're not taking care of your role. And he's done a great job of maturing and accepting that role as, hey, I've got to take 15 shots tonight. And he might take 2 or 3 poor shots. Well, your best shooters should take the worst shots. You want your worst shooter taking a shot at the end of the shot clock. You want your best guy. Usually Kobe Bryant gets the shot at the end of the shot clock. These aren't accidental things that occur, and that's why we want David Hanson and Sean Lewis getting majority of those offensive touches in their sweet spot. So that's what we're real pleased with from the offensive end and kind of the consistency I think we'll see out of David and Sean this year.
And tell me how Donahue looked on Saturday. I think a key player for you guys. He was really good last year before he went out. How did he look in his first competition? And almost
well,
a year?
His biggest mistakes were probably because he has real good basketball IQ. Defensively, he tried to overhelp and extend, and so he took himself out of position. We started off the game. He was on a 3-point shooter, which we had no scattering report on. We had minimal information. He hit one, got some confidence. So defensively, he was really kind of overwhelmed by having to play out to the 3-point line. When we switched him, then he kind of helped out too much and got hurt a little bit. So defensively, he's still got a lot of work to do. Offensively, I thought he was solid. He got to the free throw line at times, But his rebounding is really what's key for us. He takes up a lot of space, and I mean, if you start looking at a player at college basketball and he gets a double-double, that's quite an accomplishment. We had 2 guys get double-doubles with Donahue and David Hansen. So that shows we had 2 guys really going to work on the boards, and that's most important for us, to have a guy that can kind of control the boards a little bit for us, and that was really key.
And then getting back to Seattle, tell us a little bit, maybe a scouting report on them. I know they've probably changed tremendously since you left, but
Well,
what can we expect from this team, and how good?
Yeah,
do you
about
think
half the team are still guys that we recruited. The post players are probably 3 of the 5 starters are still guys we recruited that I know inside and out. Post players and a couple of the wings, real physical, real aggressive. Can try to run, can try to pressure you. They played an exhibition game and scored 120 points. They go into Maryland. They play at Maryland tonight in a game, and then they got to travel to USF. So their mentality is pretty similar. They're going to try to get after you a little bit. Their guards are real quick and aggressive top down. The point guard is very quick and aggressive top down. We've got to be able to contain penetration. If we don't do a better job containing penetration, as we saw in the game on Saturday night, we're going to have our hands full playing from behind. You know, we've got to get them to slow down. We'll change defenses. There's no secret about that. We change defenses a lot, and we're going to have to change defenses to keep them off balance. So it's going to be that. And then from the offensive end, we had a number of opportunities to score, but we have to control the basketball and the speed that we're playing. And we can do that, then I think we'll be in good shape. If we don't, then they'll get the transition back. And so I think we're ready to play, that's for sure.